Welcome to Third World Cinema Club, a podcast about Philippine cinema. Today's episode, we talk with a number of filmmakers from the Binisaya Film Festival, and they'll be sharing their thoughts with us.
Third World Cinema Club.
Pila kita maghiskot og patay. I'm John Tawasil from Present Confusion.
Hi, I'm Princess Kinok of Film Police Reviews.
Yes, and we have a number of special guests. They're all regional filmmakers. Yan. Very talented, and they've all contributed to the Binisaya Film Festival. So, in alphabetical order, let's start with the first one.
Hi, I'm Amaya Han from General Santos City. My film is Mga Handuraw sa Kahilitan, which kano sa ganito nagbinisaya 2015? Sorry. Okay. My film is 2015, no? Okay. My film is Mga Handuraw sa Kahilitan, or Daydreams of Wilderness, which participated in Binisaya in 2015.
Hi guys, my name is Ashley, and my film is The Best Employee, which was last year, 2019, and I first joined Binisaya in 2017 with Matas.
And finally,
my name is Chloe Veloso. I am a Cebu-based filmmaker. I joined Binisaya, actually kalimutan ko na anong year. Basta my two short films that joined Binisaya were Inatay and Inahan sa Kanunayang Panabang.
kamusta kayo dyan ngayon, guys, sa quarantine period? Kamusta kayo? Yun yung first question. Okay lang?
Okay. Asa man kayo karon?
Okay lang.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Si Ashley.
Okay, I come home to my parents' house because things are not going pretty well in the city. So I'm fine. Well, it's just like the main problem right now is just like the finances, because we don't have jobs, etc. I just keep in mind that people has this state a lot worse than mine right now. So I'm pretty fine. Pretty well.
How about you, Amaya?
I'm in General Santos City. I'm okay so far. No positive case in Gensan. May mga supposed to be positive but turned out negative. So far, we're supposed to have a shoot on the founder of General Santos, Polino. His bio is epic, but then na-postpone because of the COVID. Supposed to be April 18 yung first day namin, starring Mon Confiado. So,
Wow, sayang. Pero at least, na-apply plans to push it this year?
yeah, meron pa. This year, so ideally.
How about you, Chloe? Musta ka karon?
Hi.
Okay lang. Bored. I'm staying at a friend's house. I'm trying to entertain myself by reading all those books I've bought before, which I haven't had time to read. So, okay lang. Medyo scary dito sa Cebu because we actually already have a lot of cases. And probably matagal pa yung ECQ namin dito.
Okay, so since that's good, lahat pala kayo nakauwi sa inyong balay except for Chloe. Ano yung push sa inyo na mag-pursue ng filmmaking? Or why did you guys pursue filmmaking?
Okay, sige, I'll go first. I've always loved to write stories since high school, and then when I went to college, I founded this film group in UP Cebu. That's where my informal film education started. So yeah, we started by just borrowing the Mascom equipment, tapos we'd make films for fun. And yeah, that's how it all started. I've been making films since college. Up until now, I'm still making films. Also for fun, still for fun.
What about you, Amaya?
Oh, okay. I've always been writing stories since I was young. Although I was studying in like rational schools like SPED, then Science High School. So like writing stories, poetries and stories was like more of a my escape. So when I got into college na, I took fine arts in cinema cause timing na nagkaroon ng cinema course in San Carlos when I moved to Cebu in 2011.
And of course, last but not the least,
I've been always a fan of like movies, TV series. Like I've watched everything in the television, and then I really believe that communication has a deep impact in the society. And among all of the forms of communication, from writing to let's say for example, video making, filmmaking, I think that filmmaking is one of the most powerful one because it attacks to your receiver visually, and then they could also listen to it, and then of course you need to write your film. So it has the three things, like the writing, the audio, and the visual. So yeah.
Okay. Ses, napanood mo na ba lahat ng yung mga shorts na ginawa nila mga guests natin?
yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, May 5 na for the female filmmakers, nakasama dun sa Binisaya Classics, which later on ito try natin i-share sa pag-publish nitong
Nung podcast episode.
para madaming makanood. So yes, napanood ko yung 5. So right now we have 3 of the filmmakers na naadiha sa list.
Okay.
So and
Would you like to ako napanood ko na rin yung 5. Siguro pag-usapan natin
Huwag mo tatanong ko alin yung favorite ha. Wag.
Ano favorite mo, princess? Lagot ka. pag ako na yung tinanong ko.
Video off.
Alis na ako. I guess mag-start tayo sa semi-chronological order. Mag-start tayo sa film ni Chloe, yung Inatay. Yan. Yung Inatay, napanood ko na siya a few times na. Hindi lang sa Binisaya, sa mga film festivals din. Ganyan. So, Ses, anong masasabi mo sa Inatay? Wow.
Okay naman. Kay medyo, I think, hindi kasi ako pinanganak or hindi ako lumaki sa Davao or sa regional. So, very refreshing for me na makakita ng take from dun sa mga talagang naka-experience nun. So, ayun. So, okay naman siya. Nandito kasi sila lang.
Spotlight.
Ayun. Pero,
They're watching.
yes. Proud ako kasi very very well represented ang female voice, yes, sa Inatay. And yun nga, maganda yung execution niya. So, hindi naman siya yung tipong ikakahiya. Well, ito talaga kasi sila.
No-conscious ka. No-conscious ka, Ses.
No-conscious. Ayun. Ikaw, your take. What do you think? Yes.
Ako, ayan, alam mo, na-enjoy ko siya. Yung talagang nagdala dito yung pinaka-main role, yung si Albert Paran. Na in fairness sa kanya, nadala naman niya yung kwento. Sa kwento siya na parang yun, may mga ganyan na yung mga tatay na parang tawag dito. Kasi LGBT yung main character, di ba? So bigla siya nabigyan ng parental responsibilities, ganyan. nakakatuwa siya. May silang. Ano yun? Nakakatuwa siya. Masasabi ko
Wala kang violent reaction.
So, kasi sa pelikula ni Chloe, dalawa na yung napanood ko. Isa tong Inatay, yung pangalawa yung, nakalimutan ko na yung title pero yung may camera. Napanood ko I think sa UP ko sa UP ba o sa CCP? Basta isa doon sa lugar na yun. Doon ko napanood yung isa. Basta yung may camera, yun yung mas gusto kong pelikula niya. Naiyak ako doon. Pero na-entertain naman ako sa Inatay.
Sa lahat ng films ko, for that certain year when I made Inatay, okay, first and foremost, we made Inatay for fun. We didn't actually plan to join it in a film festival. And then I remember, I think Keith saw it before in another event. And then he encouraged me to join it in Binisaya because he found it entertaining. So yeah, it was Keith really who recommended to join it in Binisaya.
Chloe, Chloe, what inspired you to?
Inatay, you mentioned Sir Albert. Sir Albert was able to watch one of my previous short films and he enjoyed it very much. So he approached me and we planned to collaborate and make a short film. So we combined ideas, we brainstormed along with the main writer, si Badidi Labra. So the three of us brainstormed and we came up with the story for Inatay. It's actually inspired by Dolphy's film, Ang Tatay Kong Nanay. And what we did, since it's a comedy, we decided to make it a parody of the usual teleseries that you see. The acting was very over the top, which was actually intentional since we were making a parody. So yeah, that's how Inatay came to be.
Do you have any upcoming works or in the making before nagka-lockdown?
I'm actually planning to make a short film which I might enter in Sinulog next year and also other film festivals. Hopefully, time will permit and the budget will also permit that we'll be able to make the film.
So, move tayo dun sa next na film sa listahan. Yan. Abakada ni Nanay by Johnny Mexico. So,
wala si Johnny dito. Pero napanood niyo ba?
Napanood niyo ba, guys? Malamang napanood niyo yung Abakada niya. Actually, it reminded me of a film na lumabas last year. Yung A is for Agustin. Lolo siya na hindi marunong magbasa. Natutuwa lang ako na yung mga kababayan tayo na, alam mo yun, hindi balakid. Yung parang gusto talaga nilang matuto. Wala lang silang oportunidad na matuto. Ikaw, Ses, anong naisip mo dyan sa pelikula?
Ano siya, 7 minutes and 41 seconds. Pero sobrang na-capture niya yung heart agad nung story. Like, kahit nung mga first 3-4 minutes na pa lang. Tapos, gusto ko pang mapanood pa, pero alam mo yun, parang enough na siya para ipakita na ito si Lola Librada Gemal, na grade 4, nagpangarap maging nurse. Pero 78 years old siya at the time. So, ngayon, siya ay 84 na siya. So, sana talaga siya. Pero yun, ang ganda kasi very straightforward. Tapos, siya parang it leaves the viewer hanging na parang, akala namin sa Maynila lang ganyan. Yung pala, paano naman sila nasa province na talagang rural yung upbringing, pero may mga pangarap pala sila doon. So, yun, nasan ka man doon? Ano siya? Kayo po,
ano pong ganun lalaglag? Hindi, joke lang. May mga additional thoughts ba kayo regarding itong film na ito?
Miss Amaya, mga Miss Sabita.
Wala.
Natatawa si Amaya.
Hindi
Kasi murag close man siya. Kasi diba, kagaya ng sabi mo kanina, more on, nag-start ka on, parang ang influence mo is sa SPED. So, since ito, more on education din siya, parang murag ALS ba?
Actually, parang least forte ko kasi may na nagsalita. Sorry. Least forte ko kasi yung documentary. So, may medyo natural inclination to appreciate nung nakakagawa ng documentary na effective yung narrative naman. So, yun.
Ang hirap din kasi pag Kasi short
I think
form,
20. It's years ago na, like 5 years ago. Mm.
6 years ago na.
considering na, kasi ang documentary, may
5 years ago pa lang.
tendency siya na, alam mo yun, may mga ibang documentary na masyadong over-explaining, masyadong wordy, pero yung best na short documentaries, may kakasya mo sa very small, like, time. May isang film dyan, ay, hindi ko na lang sasabihin ko ano, parang, oh, may ganito. Tapos, ito ang aking kwento nung nakilala ko siya. Tapos, may scene na magkikita sila. Tapos, yan, oh. Ito, hindi yun.
How about
Hindi yun.
you, Ashley? Meron ka bang gustong sabihin?
For the Abacada,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like it because it's very well, I think it is well researched. Like for you to find a subject like that, I don't know how did they find a subject like that, but it is amazing that they were able to find the filmmaker were able to find a subject like that, because it's not really every day that we could hear stories which are like that, which are very inspiring, and which is presented in a way as it is. Like, it is not trying to be cheesy, it is not trying to be anything else, but it is featuring the subject, the life of the subject, and her aspirations despite of being old or despite of her age. So yeah.
Tama. Okay, so
Ayan, punta tayo sa film ni Amaya, yung mga handura sa kahilitan. Ayan. Actually, ilang beses ko na siya napanood. Siguro nakatatlong beses na ako panood niya. Kung saan sa venue.
Okay.
Yung una kong panood yan sa UP Manila. May screening sa UP Manila. Ni-review ko yan sa Press and Confusion. Tapos, napansin ko kasi yung isang side nung audio, wala.
saan yun?
Natatandaan mo ba yan? Tapos, si Amaya mismo,
So, nagbigay ako
nag-comment siya
mas-
sa...
Yes po,
Ayun, nag-comment siya sa post ko na.
nag-message.
Sadya yun.
In-edit ko yung scene.
Mm-mm.
Natatandaan.
May addendum po. Opo.
So, ayan, sis. Since gusto kong malaman kung ano yung interpretation mo sa film. Kasi it's medyo abstract-ish siya. Hindi siya very, anong thoughts mo sa,
Siya straightforward, Jared.
Actually, naalala ko sa kanya yung Where the Wild Things Are.
well done.
Yun ang naalala ko sa kanya kasi parang kahit very simple yung interpretation ng Wild Things Are. Pero ito, it's about a girl named si Joy na meron siyang anthropophobia, which is very hard to define and very hard to deal with. So, kunwari wala si Oy dito.
Okay lang po.
Inuunan ko pa gani.
So yun, so I appreciate the bravery na parang well-researched din yung fear na yun, kasi kung siguro hindi siya ganun ka-research, cheesy tignan yung execution. Talagang tinakpang si Mario.
Joke lang.
So yun.
Okay.
And then, ayun nga, parang
Sige po.
ang ganda nung pagkaka-shot din ni Nino Briones na parang very, very hard to pull it off ng ganun lang ka-confine yung space, tas maliit lang yung space. And magaling din yung actress na gumanap kay Joy. Naano lang ako, siguro minor pet peeve lang naman siya for me kapag yung extra. Kasi may tatlong extra doon, di ba? Yung naka-stop toy. Yung naka-stop toy. So yun. So parang, kasi na-imagine ko na mga laruan sila ni Joy, ganyan. Tapos parang, okay. Tapos, wala lang. Parang may isang extra lang na hindi niya na alam kung parang cut ko na pala, ganun pala. So yun lang naman, very, very minor na. Sabi ko, kuya, okay na na-imagine ko na kami. Ganun. So yun. Yun. So, So, ang tanong ko lang is, paano nyo na sequences yung ni DM Judilia? Tama. Since siya yung co-writer mo dito. So, paano nyo nasingit yung ibang parts na parang ano siya, parang tawag dun? Parang sa strobe light, pag nakakita ka nun, epileptic face. So, yun yung parang feeling ko epileptic episode. So, yun. Ayun, yun lang naman ang sa akin.
Actually po siya, based po siya on... okay. Actually, based po talaga siya on personal perspective. Kasi nung mas bata po ako, talagang takot po ako sa tao. Opo. And, parang shinare ko lang din po na parang mainly friends ko talaga ay stuffed toys. Ay parang mas gusto ko makipag-friends sa stuffed toys, sa non-living things than sa living people noong time na yun. And if napansin niyo po sa opening scene, yung mga parang human-like stuffed toys, parang siyang wasak-wasak. Tapos yung animal shaped stuffed toys ay parang sila yung well-kept. Kasi ganun po talaga dati. So parang in-incorporate namin lahat ng childhood, childhood what? No one says childhood something. Childhood keme sa script. Tapos, yung mga certain, parang mga visuals na lumalabas. Parang siyang personal talaga. Kasi parang, kasi I was sped. So, nung bata ako, actually, ako na, borderline autistic? Was it? Yeah. Yeah. So, parang diagnosed ng borderline autistic nung bata sa SPED. Yeah. So, parang may certain interpretation ako on things. So, yun yung certain image. Until now, meron pa rin, pero not super na tulad ng grabe vivid at all. Pero, may ganun. So, nung bata ko, medyo weird talaga kasi bigla lang ako tatawa kasi may maisip akong something na image. So, yun yung, kaya parang nagkaroon ako ng fear of people kasi people don't understand me nung bata. Pero it got better na over time. And now, parang ganun. So, yun actually yung main. Bakit yun? Tapos, kaya naging personal yung film ko. Parang, that year with Sir DM. Sir DM's actually my screenwriting professor. Kasi, it was, parang normally, parang ginagawa kong films is like social issues, like environmental, ganun. Tapos, that year, kasi thesis ko yon. Tapos, timing na, the year before, nag-suicide yung tita ko. So, parang mas strong yung feeling ko na parang, I think this is the right time na to focus. Parang kasing dati, parang iniiwasan siyang topic. Ako mismo, iniiwasan ko siyang topic kasi medyo hindi siya well accepted. Shadow, as always. Tapos, pero I mean now, I think there's a difference. Pero, living in the different cities in Philippines, may difference parang yung range ng pag-accept about anything mental topic. So, parang yun, parang nag-strong ako dun nung before ko graduate something. Sabi ko, kailangan ko siyang magawa. So, yun. Tapos, I think technically parang tinago ko siya all my life na may ganun akong background until that year. Parang gusto ko na siya ilabas. Parang ganun. Parang ganun.
So, yun.
May nakikita nga akong thread na parang yung movie is parang is trying to translate yung experiences talaga ng isang bata with that condition parang in visual form. So parang talagang parang para first watch parang ano kaya to ganyan. So nung second watch parang knowing more about yung background na tipong yung point of view niya mas klaro na sa akin.
Actually, regarding kay Neil Briones naman, yung na-mention mo yung room, na-mention mo yung parang ang galing niyang talagang isang room lang yun. Actually, it was parang photography room, photography lab ng school. Kasi, wala. I couldn't really rent hospital room kasi medyo mahal na siya. And parang at that time, may another thesis film na mental health din yung topic niya. Although, romance yung take niya. Tapos, parang yun lang yung isang hospital place na medyo open, na free. Ganun. So, I couldn't I couldn't rent somewhere else kasi mahal rin mag-rent. Tapos, I'm really low budget. Really low budget kasi, yun, low budget kasi hindi taga ako mayamang, hindi kami galing sa mayamang pamilya, gano'n. Parang gusto ko lang magawa yung thesis.
Magkano yung nagastos niyo to make mga handura sa kahilitan?
At overall, including, kasi na-hospital ako, including my hospital bills was like 25.
25?
So, 8,000 yung hospital. So, actually, pang 13 lang. Kasi sponsored yung mga equipment, tapos mainly food, tapos ang ginawa namin nila Neil, parang instead na we pay them like fees, I'll be part of their thesis for the next year. Parang ganun. So I creative produced Neil's thesis. Mga walay humayon sa tanglad. Yeah. So parang ganun, parang naging ex-deal kasi forever naman kami nagko-collaborate. Until now, actually Neil was my DOP for my first feature. Pero hindi pa siya, may isa pa akong scene na kulang. So I can't shoot it because of COVID din. So yun. So parang long-term collaborators naman talaga kami. So parang ganun. Tsaka student thesis film na at that time. So yun.
Ses, napanood mo na yung film ni...
Everything was paid. Like example, transportation, that was taken care of.
Oh, everything was paid na.
Yung tanglad.
Okay.
So, thesis film pala to.
Thesis film na to. Amaya.
Yes. 5 years ago.
Nagka-period ako ng life ko na wala akong ibang ginawa kundi manood ng thesis films. So,
Masaya manood ng thesis.
walang halong Oo. Walang halong kasip-sipan. Maganda siya. Kasi napanood akong ganong theme dati.
Change.
Sa Cinema Region. Tapos asar na asar ako kasi sabi ko, alam ko ang gusto niyang i-portray or tungkol sa sa depression as a pagkabata. Tapos basta parang may pader-pader. Yun nga.
Yung
Gusto ko sige,
by the way, Ses, napanood mo na ba yung pelikula ni Neil Briones, yung mga walang humayan sa tanglad?
Hindi pa. Pero pwede nyo discuss. Okay.
Maganda yun. So, panoorin nyo. Binisaya din.
Ay, wait lang, John. Yung dalawa pala, Miss Chloe tsaka si Ashley, meron ba kayong masasabi about Amaya's film?
Ayun. Wow! Hot seat. Naglaga na. Laga na, guys. Ano yun?
Share ito ng inputs.
Alis na kami ni Ces.
Oh no.
Comments lang.
Okay lang.
Comments.
Okay na yan.
Sino mauna?
Okay lang daw, sabi ni Chloe.
Okay lang.
Ate Chloe, char. Sorry.
Ashley, okay lang.
Okay.
Thumbs up. Okay.
So, moving on. Maria Lims, Leonora Kilat. Ako nagustuhan ko to eh. Nagustuhan ko tong pelikulan to eh.
Yes.
Yung fiancé ko taga Cebu, taga Talisay siya. Yung dream namin ay bumili kami ng lumang movie theater. Tapos gagawin namin, alam mo yun, parang micro cinema. Kung may pera kami, wala kaming pera. Pero parang ganun eh. Pinag-uusapan niya itong Leonora Kilat, pinag-uusapan niya yung decline ng parang movie heritage natin. Kasi meron ditong sinihan na magsasarado na, and nakahanap yung main character ng lumang pelikula na ang title ay Leonora Kilat. Tapos yun, gusto niyang ipalabasan na sa theater niyan, pero pinasara pa. Yung pinaka, I guess yung line or yung scene na pinaka in-encapsulate niya yung naisip ko doon sa pelikula, yung nung kinumpare nila yun doon sa actual na si Leon Kilat. Si Leon Kilat ay revolutionary na tinraidor ng sarili niyang tao. So parang sa pag-preserve ng cinematic heritage natin, tayo-tayo lang din ang nakakasira. Ganun.
Yes.
Kaya nagustuhan ko siya. Tsaka si Publio Briones nandun. So, 10 out of 10. Yeah. Joke lang.
So yun, notes ko sa Leonora Kilat, same din. So it's black and white. Si Maria Lim ang nag-direct. 15 minutes and 7 seconds siya. So, si Leonora Kilat is a film by the ano, no, yung bida, si Shirley Templino, yung lola niya namatay. So, nagkaroon, old movie star pala si Lola, ganyan.
Namatang sila din.
Highlights, oo. Lipstick lang pinag-iba. So, ayun. So, highlight for me is si, yung 5-minute mark, kung kailan lumabas yung Budots na song, which was a very good, interlude ng dalawang magkaibang youth. Kasi si Shirley, tinatry niya i-preserve yung memories ng old films na pinapalabas sa Colossus Theater, ganyan, tsaka yung theater mismo. Tapos si Errol, yung pirata, na anak ng isang former cinephile, yun. Yun, doon sila nakita. So para sa akin, maganda yung scene na yun kasi parang doon pinapakita yung divide somewhat ng old, mga romanticist ng film.
Dati.
Tapos yung mga, tsaka yung mga, yung mga practical ngayon. Practical lang naman din kasi si
Ngayon,
Errol.
kung makita mo ngayon, di ba, na may mga nakasabit na pirate na DVD sa bahay ng yun eh. So, may difference na eh in how, paano tayo mag-consume ng pelikula eh, no? Wala, nakakatawa.
So, paano pala, question for all the filmmakers dito, like, paano pala yung reception ng family nyo kapag nalaman nila na nakagawa kayo ng film or nasama kayo sa Binisaya? Let's start with Ashley.
They don't know. They don't know the films that I am producing, and I think it's not really like a big deal for me. But I don't know. I mean, they're cool with it that I am making films, but they haven't watched even one of my films. But I'm not really that sensitive kind of girl who gonna take it like in a big thing. It's fine for me. I know they will find time to watch it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, because here in our house we're just free to do whatever we like to do. Like, there is no like mandated law here that you should report whatever you're doing. So yeah, I mean they're pretty fine with whatever I'm doing with my life.
How about Chloe? Nilapit yung mukha. Sige, si Amaya muna.
Amaya, what about you?
Mixed mainly. My family, they're supportive kasi kami tatlo magkakapatid are in film. My sister is like indie actress. She was in Neo Manila. Then like yung Amanda character. Then my brother is pareho kaming nag-film major. Actually, we were classmates. Pero he's 4 years older. So, family, internal-wise, yung immediate family, we're very okay naman. But like, relatives-wise, not so. Mixed. Pero majority is like, so anong ginagawa mo? Video, parang ganun. Tapos, so when I work in bigger productions, parang ang tanong lang mainly is about the actors, not really like about the workflow, parang may ganun. I think it's because, kasi in Gensan, it's not very common pa naman yung idea na working in film. And so far, like getting to know like the local, example, mga nag-film major na nasa Gensan, iilan lang kami, like less than 20 so far. I mean, Sir Bing Lao is like the old veteran type, so hindi na siya considered sa listahan mo na. So parang very, very minimal siya. Very minimal size. Kaya parang hindi siya very open. Then so, of course, like, I think common idea is like, dapat doctor ka, dapat lawyer ka, ganun. Or if you're in film, dapat like blockbuster type ka, ganun. Even at my age, dapat blockbuster na, ganun. So, yun.
Yung among lugar diha is sa Lumbang. Ayun, pamangkin ko
Okay.
So yun. So may common silang questions sa ako. Like they'd say na dapat magawa ka ng films about our tribe, ganun. So personally, ikaw din ba na-offeran ka ba ng ganun? Or may tribe tribe din ba kayo? Ikaw?
Wala actually. Although ang family, yung family ng mama ko, ng mom side ko kasing taga Jensan, papa ko is Batanggenyo. They're Kapampangans pero first settlers sila ng Jensan. So, actually medyo confusing ang culture in Jensan kasi para siyang melting pot nga yung tawag, melting pot of culture. So, may Kapampangan, Bicolano, Ilonggo, Ilocano, halo-halo. So far, wala pa namang nag-ask sa akin. Pero may one filmmaker na from Jensan, pero nag-aral din ng Cebu, San Carlos Cinema rin. 2 years batch lower siya sa akin. Pinagawa siya kasi Blaan, so about Blaan tribe naman. So parang I think it's not pinagawa sa kanya. Siya mismo gusto niyang gumawa ng film about the tribe. So,
Blaan ako! Sige.
So far sa akin, wala. Si Maxine Bitonio, if ever,
Sige,
you know her.
hanapin ko. Ayun nga, kasi parang yun din yung common na, dito naman sa Manila, yun yung common na misconception. Like, pag regional filmmaker, tungkol sa mga katutubo, ganyan. Kasi ako, hindi naman.
Hindi naman necessarily.
Hindi naman. Not necessarily. Nakakainis lang pag gumawa ka about katutubo tapos wala kang alam sa katutubo. Diba? So parang, nininsulto mo kami o sarili mo parang.
That's true.
Okay. How about you Ashley naman? Ay, wait lang. Yun, kay Ashley. Oo, pero ikaw Ashley, na-offeran ka ba na gumawa ng films? Ay,
Ate Chloe.
andyan na si Chloe. Hello, Chloe? Are you there? Okay lang, baka mahina yung data. Yun actually ang ang mahirap ngayon. Kasi usually, nag-hold kami ng recordings ng personal. So, ngayong COVID, ganyan. So, ayun.
Long distance. Social distancing.
Oo.
Record.
Okay, so, ayun. So, yun ang Leonora Kilat. So, interesting siyang film. So, sana may makamita.
So last
Okay.
but not the least, yan. Punta tayo sa the best employee. Yan.
Yes.
Hello,
Oh,
you're
na.
na. I'm back.
Ganun, no?
Para talaga sa ito, Ashley.
Bumalik yung internet.
Good. De, joke lang. Sis,
Ay, si Ate Chloe.
Ayun na ba siya?
Chloe. Ayun.
Yes.
Yun.
Answering your question about parents.
Ayun, yun.
Hello?
Reception ng relatives. Ganun. About you. Filmmaking.
Initially, yung reaction ng parents ko, they were quite hesitant kasi yung course ko pag college was computer science. Tapos, bakit mag-film ka? I mean, it's like for mass comm. But I really pursued it. I really pushed with my filmmaking. So, ngayon, they are actually sometimes helping sa finances ng mga films ko, yung mga passion projects ko. They're very supportive naman ngayon. And also my other relatives, they're very supportive. Especially, some of my relatives keep on bugging me to make a film in Waray kasi I'm from Tacloban. They keep on telling me na, bakit Cebuano? You should make a Waray film for a change. And I really tell them na, well, sige, soon, gagawa ko ng Waray na film.
Kung gagawa ka, may naisip ka bang story or paano siya kung gagawa ka ng Waray na film?
Actually, I have a story. It's inspired by my childhood. I'm planning to shoot it, well, if ever the time will come, I'm planning to shoot it at our ancestral house in Tacloban. So, yeah, hopefully, kung may time, may budget, I will definitely work on that film.
Sana pag natapos to, last but not the least, yes. Ang aking mga hinord. Yun na lang. The Best Employee.
The best employee.
Yes. By Ashley C. Manugas.
So, Sis,
Great.
how would you say a few words about the film?
Yes, so, so,
Tatap ng computer dyan sa taas.
ayan. Tapos, umalis na.
Umalis na.
For me, among the five, parang vlogger lang, 5. among the 5 films na part ng roster, just strongest in terms of of yung gusto niyang sabihin. Kasi very distinct siya kasi trinay mong maglagay ng social commentary on youth tsaka ng working class. So,
Yung
which isn't really
yung working class eh.
Oo, yung sa working class. Tsaka, kasi parang, usually yung mga ganyang films nga, na familiar ako is nga, sa City Life, Maynila, BGC, Taguig, ganyan. Pero, rare for me na makakita something na set siya sa Cebu. Kung tutuusin, ang Cebu ay isa sa, largest na techno park or place sa buong Pilipinas. So, maraming mga mga working class na nag-BPO or IT, ganun. So, ayun. So, yung struggles nung sa working class, na-highlight niya in a way na very refreshing. Actually, kanina nung pinanood ko siya ulit, inisip ko na parang, paano kaya, kung kunyari, ako si Ashley, tapos gumawa ako ng film, pero 35 years old na ako. Tapos about the working class, it's still gonna be the same. So, yeah. Oh, di ba natawid? Ayun po.
Sa akin naman,
Ikaw, John.
ako, sa lahat ng mga napanood ko, siya siguro yung pinakamakulit na pelikula. May mga parang mga title card siya na hindi to fiction ha? Hindi ha? Pero alam mo kasi na nangyayari talaga siya sa totoong buhay. Parang purely coincidental pero it can so parang dumo-double back siya to the point na nangyayari to totoo to. Well, except yung yung parang
Murders.
Yung mga murders, naging assassin. Pero, ano yun, for the most part yun, nagets ko naman yung social commentary. Tas, ayun one simple thing can set someone off na mag-go sa rampage. Like yung marami siyang pinaghuhugutan na cinematic history ng ano nga ba yung tao nag-rob ng bank kasi siya? Ano nga ba yun, sis? Yung American.
Ano yan?
Ano nga ba yun? Dog Day Afternoon ba yun? Basta yung mga ganun ba?
Sa Dog Day,
yung mga
parang taxi driver.
O kaya John Q, mga ganun. Yung mga may ganung feel siya eh. Lalo na near the end. Yun lang. Ganun.
Yes. Very angsty siya eh. Tsaka may budot scene din dito. So parang, yes.
Yun ang gusto ko sana itanong sa inyong lahat. Parang, bakit ang dami ko nakikita, lalo na dyan, napaka-prevalent ng budot sa cinematic body of work ninyong lahat. Parang,
oo nga.
Ayun. Sa'yo, Alice.
Parang hindi ko hindi sa sadya, no?
Ha? Ano, no?
Hindi, para sa kanila. So, hindi siya sadya, no, na may budots na parts.
Tanong natin, parang, Alisa, bakit mo ginamit yung budots doon sa film mo? Ano yung gusto mong
Because most of the shots in the film were taken in Colon, and then when you go to Colon Street during the hype really of budots, you can really hear it like literally everywhere. So to encapsulate that, since we were shooting it in Colon nighttime, so that is the reason why we selected the song to be the background, because actually it is not really an intention to put it there, but when we edited the whole film and then we see that particular sequence, we're trying to have a background music that will suit it, that will also not make it boring or whatever, that it's like catchy. So we chose budots.
Okay.
Can you share with us bakit how did you paano mo siya na conceptualize the best employee?
Conceptualize. I'm in the phase of my life during that time that I was having a case with my employer. That's it. And then so everything that's going on in the film is like it is a very personal film for me because it is like my way to redeem myself with everything that happened in that previous company of mine. So yeah, I just put it right there, like my frustrations to the boss, the frustrations of other people who are gonna power trip their way up in the corporate life. So I just put it there. Yeah, revenge film. So yeah, that's it. It is like a form of redeeming myself because I really don't think I'm gonna win the case against my employer, or I'm going to redeem myself entirely with that case. So I find a medium in which I could really tell everything that I want to tell. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.
So, alright.
Ay, pero
Name 5
guys,
na ano.
Amaya and Chloe, yan. What did you think of Alyssa's film?
Yes. I haven't watched pa po.
You haven't watched it yet. Yan.
How about you, Chloe?
I haven't watched. Yeah.
Hindi pa rin. Well, it's now on video.
2017.
I haven't watched it pa.
Okay. Alright.
Meron ka bang meron kang mga upcoming na ideas na gusto mo pang, or films pala na in the works?
Me and my friends are like, well, most of our films are really like personal. It's really like us expressing ourselves, expressing our experiences. We're planning to shoot something about sex that we're planning to shoot it this month, April, but then the lockdown happened, so I don't know if we're going to shoot it still, or I don't know if we're going to push it, but yeah, we're really planning to do that. Something about sex, women, the office place, etc.
Okay. I guess that's gonna lead me to my next question. So, as a female filmmaker in Philippine cinema, sa tingin nyo ba ano yung so far yung mga experiences nyo na that sets you apart from the males? Yes. CR ka muna dyan.
Very char.
So, sino kaya first? You first, Amaya.
Okay.
Do you ever think of it na parang, okay, this sets me apart kasi yung vision ko as a female filmmaker is this and that. So, if yes, ano yung sa tingin mo?
Actually, hindi ako masyadong nag-ano about the gender. So, wait. Pero, paano ba? Mahirap. Later. Mag-isip. Actually, si Elsie muna.
Okay.
Mahirap siya, okay.
How about you, Ashley? Yeah.
Actually, it's a hard question, really, because I'm not also thinking about that. Though I am very much interested at how male really sees their female characters, like how they write their female characters. I'm really interested with those kinds of things. Like, for example, if I watch a film, how do this certain male director sees the female character? But in line with your question, I also don't know how to address that. It's like, that is a hard question. I don't have really an on-hand experience, or it haven't really crossed my mind yet.
Okay. How about you, Chloe?
As a director, whenever I write my short films, I usually base it on my experiences, or I take a part of myself and put it in the characters. That's for the short films I actually wrote. And well, as a filmmaker, personally I have advocacies. Like I want to make films on women's rights or women empowerment or LGBT rights, children's rights, kahit animal rights, sige, pwede, animal rights. So, yeah, that's one thing that I'm proud of as a filmmaker. I like telling stories and I really want to stand by my advocacies.
Nice. I think kasi may nabasa ako na article. Sorry. May nabasa akong article kasi a few weeks back, pinanood ko yung Kramer versus Kramer yung kay Meryl Streep tsaka kay Dustin Hoffman. Tapos, may isang line doon si Meryl Streep doon sa courtroom scene na pinasulat pala sa kanya nung director. So, kung binis nila doon sa book which was written by a man, iba yung dating nung dialogue niya versus doon sa dialogue ni Meryl Streep na talagang powerful siya na parang kiniklaim niya na babae ako, may feelings ako, may karapatan akong mag-work or maghanap ng kung anong gusto ko in life, nanay din ako, ganun. So, ayun. So, in terms of writing your characters, since nga, may last year na ay issue about the male gaze sa Philippine cinema. How about sa inyo naman? I mean, how do you approach characters like, kunwari, na ay strong female character or quite weak na character na female? How do you approach it? Parang iniisip niyo ba na dapat siguro ni-rape siya muna or, sorry, not the rape part, pero parang ganun. May iba kayong naisip na approach na parang sa tingin nyo, since, pag lalaki siguro nag-direct iba siya or like, may ganun ba kayong kino-consider sometimes?
I think mainly hindi siya gender, mainly baka personality based. Example, kung talagang misogynist yung director, baka incline into that. Pero yung, like, example, like Sir DM is a male. He's my co-writer. But hindi siya inclining towards yung super male, parang ganun. So parang may certain balance siya as a person. So maybe yung mga nagkataon lang, hindi naman nagkataon, pero siguro ganun ang personality ng ibang directors na inclining towards ganun. Meron din siguro naman ding female na medyo when they make male characters, medyo parang oppressed masyado or something. So parang may ganun, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ang hirap man ng tanong. Wala na, naisip ko lang kasi hindi ko masyado natatanong yung female yung filmmaker. Kasi kunyari, di ba, parang ang dami mong i-consider. Like, kunyari, pag nagsulat ka ng story tapos about sa guy, syempre, ano mo yun parang, ano mo siya, perception mo siya. Pero pag nakita kaya siya ng audience mo, is it gonna be the same? Or should you change it?
It's true.
Ayun. Ikaw dyan, anong, may follow-up question ka ba diba?
Parang insight lang siguro, additional insight lang dun sa sinasabi mo, Ses, na ikaw ba, kunyari ikaw, Ses, kung pinanood mo tong 5 pelikula na to without knowing who directed them, would you be able to tell kung babae yung nag-direct sa kanila or hindi?
Actually, hindi. Hindi sa para sa ko, babae, ang galing naman kasi parang may nga, mas very interesting na nakuha namin kayo to talk about this kasi yun naman yung sa akin, parang once or twice pa lang ako nakanood ng regional film na gawa ng babae. So, parang, ang galing kasi nga, ganun yung take. So, very, very balanced siya and very good answer somewhat kasi nga parang hindi nyo binibase sa gender na dapat yung storyline is ganito, ganyan. Parang it's really more on something else.
Kasi ako, agree ako kay Amaya na na it's not it doesn't have to be necessarily be gender based pero more personality based. Kasi alam mo yun, depende rin sa style ng filmmaker. Syempre pumapasok minsan diyan yung lente ng pagiging lalaki niya, pagiging babae niya, pero only if yung the story suits yung kanyang pagkasabi. So it really depends kung anong klaseng story yung sinasabi mo. And what kind of a filmmaker you are.
Yeah.
Yun lang.
Okay.
Ayun, move tayo siguro sa merong again, recent events, again, showbiz chika. So, in recent events, yung isang Cebu-based artist, si Bambi Beltran, siya ang writer ng Ang Damgo ni Eleuteria. That film is, I think, siya yung voted one of the best films of the 2010s. Tama ba, Ses, sa Pinoy Review? Number one ba siya?
Yes.
Parang number one siya.
Oo.
Ayun.
Noong 2017, 2016?
No. Kasi 2010 hanggang 2019. Like,
oo, yung best of the decade.
best films of the decade. Parang, basta nasa top 10 yun, alam ko. Kasi ako, sinali ko yun sa top 10. Okay. Pero anyway, she was arrested by the mayor of by a mayor. Mayor ba siya ng Cebu City? Ganun. Tama ba?
Yes. Mayor ata siya ng Cebu.
Yan, si Mayor Label.
Mayor.
For violating for a violation of yung Bayanihan Bilas 1 Act. May pinost siya na parang kung basahin mo yung post, parang medyo sarcastic yung dating, medyo satirical yung dating na post. About
Could you, John, could you share yung sinabi niya? Or, may copy ka ba nun?
Wala akong copy nung Facebook post niya pero basta may isang barangay, may isang barangay doon na ano nga ba yun? Parang assumed na positive na lahat yung mga tao doon sa loob. So parang ang joke niya ay, nako, yung barangay ganyan, kami na epicenter ng solar system, ganon. So I guess napikon yung mayor doon. So pinakulong siya. I think in the middle of the night yata. So walang nahirapang makakuha ng legal recourse, hindi makalaya kagad. So I think she's in the process of countersuing the mayor for parang wrongful arrest. Pero kayo guys, in terms of siguro freedom of expression, ganyan, anong mako-comment niyo sa mga nangyari? Yun. Kung sino na lang gusto mo, chime in.
Tsaka, hindi ito yung first time na nagkulong siya or nagsuplong ng artist.
Talaga?
Although yung first one kasi, yung rapper, not sure if na bagdaan niyo yung sa rapper. Medyo off din kasi yung commentary nung rapper. Pero hindi naman yan sadya kasi freedom of expression niya. Pero very very vocal sa pagsuplong ni Mayor. May mga nagaganon. So, ayun. Ano sa tingin niyo?
Can I have something to say about that. Kasi ako, personally, I know Miss Bambi. Yes, I actually know her. And, okay, one problem with Filipinos is people don't seem to get sarcasm. Diba? A lot of Filipinos just can't take sarcasm or they don't understand if a person's being sarcastic. There's this thing called internet etiquette or netiquette. So maybe I think what she could have done was maybe change her wordings talaga. Kasi it was kind of offensive in a way. She could have rephrased her statement. But yeah, I believe that she had the right to voice out her opinion. Pero yun, it's also in the wordings. We really have to know our place when it comes to the things we post online, especially if we violate any rules of netiquette. So, yun. That's my opinion on it.
Objective-wise, I think I would agree to Ate Chloe that there should be we should have an etiquette on how we gonna arrange or use our words, because we don't know how the public will perceive it. But objective wise, I think before that posting, there was another posting of this particular person that states that this particular barangay won't be subjected to mass testing because they are assuming that all of the residents there are already positive cases. So if there's a flaw in that, because if I'm the reader of that kind of posting, I will be like Miss Beltranto, who will assume that, oh my god, so the 9,000 residents right now in that particular barangay is positive like that, so I'm gonna post something like that. So freedom of speech, I think Miss Beltran has the right to post, to have a reaction like that. But again, I would like to agree with Ate Chloe in saying that you are free to post whatever you like to say, but then we should
always take into consideration the words that we're using, because we can't expect everyone to get everything that we want them to get rightfully. Like, if it's for us, we get it that it's sarcastic, etc. But for some, it will be like it's very offensive. It's personal like that. So, yeah, that's it.
Okay. How about you, Amaya?
Amaya.
Nagtawag
Nagbabasa ng news. Okay. Nagbabasa news.
Pero it's very hard, no? Kasi siguro kahit, alam mo yun, kahit na, yes, you have the freedom of expression. Pero kasi we're living in a different time than the days last year or before, di ba? Hindi siya yung parang joke lang. So parang it's very hard to do sarcasm, especially in the time of crisis. I guess. May mahirap na siya before, mas mahirap pa siya ngayon. No?
True.
Kasi parang kunwari, even if, di ba, pag sa speech ni Duterte, parang minsan gusto mong isipin na siya nagpapaka-sarcastic lang siya, kaso hindi, may masakit din kapag naririnig mo from him na hindi siya serious about the matter. Yes. Go, Amaya.
Okay. I think, okay. Hindi ko actually alam talaga kung ano yung buong situation, pero like, I hear, parang I read na parang yung parang free Bambi, parang ganang may magandang movement. Kasi parang the way ata siya in-arrest was the problem mainly din.
Yes.
For the side, parang both sides lang titingnan ko. Side A, sample like the police or what, for arresting her because of the fake news makes sense. But then like maybe if ever totoo yung, I think like sample ito, like Miss Beltran's lawyer was not allowed to enter because of the presence of the mayor. So, di ba laging may right naman magkaroon ng lawyer or something, or
Yeah, you have the right.
parang ganun. So maybe baka doon may glitch. Baka dapat, oo. So pwede naman, make sense na pwedeng siyang i-arrest, or I'm not sure if, but I think may nabasa rin ako like warrant of arrest. Sorry, malabo yung mata. So parang may warrant of arrest problem din. So dapat without a warrant. Beltran was arrested without a warrant. I'm not sure if sa batas ba natin it's okay to arrest without a warrant. Yeah. So maybe that could be a problem sa terms ng side ng government.
Unless you...
So yun, isa yun. And then of course yung without a lawyer. So parang technically parang silang may mali. Parang silang may mali. Parang
Kasi
gano'n.
unless you suspend the writ of habeas
So far.
corpus, hindi ka pwedeng mag-arrest ng basta-basta. And I think, yun nga, they did it.
I-arrest lang basta-basta.
Middle of the night
They did it
din,
in
no?
the middle of the night din eh. So, medyo questionable yung... Parang gusto lang makagante. Alam mo yun. Pinersonality ni nung nang-arrest.
Mayor.
Yeah.
Sa inyong tatlo, since mas dumadami na yung cases sa Cebu, ano yung current mindset nyo? Like, may changes ba mentally, spiritually, socially, ganon? Socio-economically, ganyan. If you could share right now, ano yung nyo?
Or parang does it affect your daily routine? Ganon.
Okay. So, si Miss Chloe muna.
Okay, well, it's really affecting my mental health, and yung that fear of uncertainty na when will this all end, anong mangyayari, well, I mean, like, especially in terms of my job and the other activities I wanna do. I usually do like my hobbies, so yun, the fear of uncertainty of when is this going to end. I actually have relatives in other provinces. I'm also afraid of how they're doing, their conditions there. I also have some relatives who are frontliners din. So, yun, yung fear, there's like this constant fear which isn't really good for my mental health. So, I'm just distracting myself by reading books or watching yung mga sitcoms just to distract myself from that fear, that anxiety. So, yun.
Ashley.
Okay. For me, yeah, it is the uncertainty that worries me a lot. But in the end of the day, I always remind myself that we take it like one step at a time. Like the goal right now is to finish the health crisis, like to contain the virus, to stop the virus, and then from making it to the finishing line of this whole coronavirus crisis, we take another step on easing out our economic stability or economic crisis again, because I think everyone right now in the world is in pain one way or another, but I always remind myself that my problem is just in the economic. Like, for example, I lost my job, like none of my household right now is working, so we're like in the trouble of the money. But I always remind myself that is the only, it's just a shallow problem compared to other people who is really facing that one of their family members is has the virus, etc. So they have it a lot worse than mine, than my problem. So I just constantly remind myself of that, like, yeah, we need to see each other in the finish line of this whole crisis, and then from that on, we take another step to ease out and in a way to breathe out normally like we used to. So yeah.
Okay. That's a good mindset.
Okay.
Okay, how about you, Amaya?
So, before the lockdown, parang, if I don't have work, kasi freelance na ako ngayon, freelance producing mainly. If I don't have anything like at work, a job, if don't have flights to Manila or wherever, parang, I'm mainly just at home. So, on the personal routine-wise, wala masyadong changes. Kasi I'm just at home. Or like looking on quarantining myself or what. But like, I think observing for like the outside. Kasi insofar in Jensen, we have this, I'm not sure if it's the same with everyone. Parang meron kaming enhanced community quarantine where like may cluster system. May border system kami. So per barangay siya, actually, not barangays, like group of barangays. So hindi kami makalabas there and all. So I think it affects yung mga day-to-day like trabahante, like the tricycle drivers. Kasi hindi nga sila makatawid or something. So may ganong fact. Pero essential workers so far here, tuloy-tuloy pa naman. Like my aunt is from the city health, so meron pa rin silang work, grocery, and mga food panda so far yung isang delivery system is tuloy-tuloy pa rin naman sila, except dun sa parang lockdown talaga officially, like Saturdays and Sundays, I think, or Thursdays to Sundays. Kasi parang it varies every week. And hindi ko siya na-feel masyado kasi I'm mainly just inside my house. Parang I hear the everyday stories mainly through my aunt who's from the city health. Like example, kung may case na ba to, like kung meron bang PUI or PUE, parang it's an everyday talk in the house kasi nga city health yung tita ko. Tapos so far, like from previously, parang observing lang sa mga taga Jensen is parang medyo mas chill sila on their take sa situation kasi wala pa kami positive. Pero nung nagkaroon ng parang supposedly positive, parang medyo nagka-panic. So parang nawala ulit yung mga tao sa streets. So, parang in a sense, medyo pasaway kasi nung hindi positive, wala pang positive, parang tuloy pa rin sila, mag-inuman yung iba, ganyan. Pero parang medyo subtle lang kasi yung parusa pag nahuling lumagpas sa mga curfew hours, parang tutulong ka lang magpacking sa government. So parang medyo subtle lang din kasi yung parusa, kaya siguro parang chill lang din yung take ng mga tao. Pero in a general sense, parang kasi medyo optimistic din yung mga taga Jensen about anything. Parang hindi naman general, hindi sila mababait hindi mababait taga Jensen in general. Pero minsan, pag may crisis, sample ng mga sunog, yung mga lindol, parang doon lumalabas yung, for some reason, parang nagiging mabait lahat, nagtutulungan, ganon. So parang may example, may isa kaming parang tricycle driver siya by day, pero kinukuha namin siya normally sa bahay parang for whatever reason. Tas wala siyang day-to-day job as of now kasi nga wala hindi makakagalang tricycle. Pero like so people help him, like parang limited kasi yung yung pagbigay ng goods so far. Parang sobrang kaunti lang, 3 kilos of rice and 2 cans of sardines for a week. So of course it's not enough for a family. Pero ang nangyayari, like example mga business owners, mga may kaya, parang they give back to the people. Example, lalo na sa mga kilala nilang, alam nilang parang hard up. So, parang ganun naman so far. So, parang people get by. So, hindi pa siya worst case scenario. So far, kasi wala pang positive. Pero pag may nag-positive, I think magkakaroon ng change sa mga tao. Mas siseryosohin na siguro yung mga pag stay at home, ganun. Kasi so far ngayon, like, ang dami pa rin pupunta sa mall, ang dami pa rin nag-grocery. May parang joke na nga na mas takot yung tao sa magutom kaysa sa COVID. Parang ganun na yung, parang may memes going around in Jensen na ganun. Parang may ganun. So far ganun. Pero personally, so far, wala talaga siyang major difference. Except siguro dun sa mga postponed shoots, parang nakaka-down lang na, na-postpone, sayang, parang ganun. Pero yun, it's okay. Parang I'm taking this time to rest na lang din.
That's good. Kasi parang di ba yun yung usual, parang gusto mo maging productive kasi walay work, walay production. So, at least, mas maganda siguro i-take time mo muna or yun muna na magpahinga and take as much materials or many materials as possible. No? So hopefully sana hindi siya ma-extend kasi marami ding cases yun nga. Sa testing pa lang, di ba? Parang wow, ba't wala pa ding testing hanggang ngayon?
So let us move to the last tama ba?
Yes.
To the last segment of today. Ayan. O yan. Sana na nakapag-isip na kayo, what have you watched recently? Gusto mo kami muna ni Princess? Start. O sige, kami muna.
Para makuha na.
Actually ako, wala pa ako napapanood. Wala pa ako napapanood.
Sige, ano na lang.
Pero may ginawa ako recently na for my yung 15th anniversary ng blog ko. Gumawa ako ng video essay about Never Not Love You ni Tonet Hadawan. Nasa Twitter. Hanapin nyo na lang. So that's 3 out of 4 planned. Ayan, nakikita niyo yung kamay ko. 3 out of 4 planned na video essays for the month of April. Yung last episode nun ay lalabas sa April 30. Hopefully, sana lumabas. Tungkol siya sa isang sikretong pelikula. Abangan nyo na lang.
May vlog kasi siya sa presentation. So yun, 15 years na yun.
Sana nabasa nyo. Nabasa na naman siguro in some way. Ses, ikaw naman, anong napanood mo recently?
Teka, may so since social distancing, so wait lang, nakamute pa ako yan. So may kami ng jowa ko, virtual date nights ang tawag namin. So last night may napanood kami sabay na sa Netflix yung documentary ni Michael Jordan.
The Last Dance.
So yun. So oo. Iniisa-isa ko kasi siya. Oo. So yun. So may papanoorin dapat ako na Tagalog na film.
Ano yun? Anong film yun?
Hindi may pasine kasi si Direk J. Altarejos. So yun. So hahabulin ko sana siya.
Akala ko
so kung ko na lang dito.
Ayan.
Yung sa ayun. So okay naman yung kasi 90s kid ako. So kilala ko si Michael Jordan. Pero hindi ko kilala yung number 2 niya, which is si Scottie Pippen. So yun, tungkol lang siya kay Scottie Pippen. Ayun.
Lahat
so kayo naman.
Sige, kayo naman. Sino gusto mag-start? Alphabetical ba ulit?
Sige.
Ashley. Si Ashley.
Parang may gustong sabihin si Ashley.
Ashley, anong napanood mo recently?
recently for the TV series, Killing Eve, because I really like that series. Yeah, they are, I think, in season 3 right now. And then for the movie, oh my god, don't judge me with this one, but
Okay lang.
the last movie that I saw is Mission Impossible, the one with Henry Cavill. Because let me defend myself. Because I really like the piece of Henry Cavill, and it really distracts you from any hard things going on right now. Like seeing his biceps and whatever distracts you from for a meantime. It will let you breathe breathe normally for a meantime. So yeah, those two are the latest shows that I've watched.
May confession ako, hindi ko pa
Napansin mo ba na edited yung niya? Di ba dito yun? Edited yung...
Sa Batman and Superman yung walang mustache. Yung...
Mustache.
Oh, dahil may
dito
mustache siya sa Fallout. Sa Fallout.
The Fallout, yeah.
Mustache and Fallout.
Okay. Uy, okay na. Kasi yun nga, parang ang hirap din kasi manood ng serious na films lately.
Masaya yung mga...
Lalo pag yung morning, kung ano yung future mo bukas.
Grabe. Well.
Ayun. So, ikaw naman, Amaya, next in order. Para si Miss Chloe yung
Film. Okay, film. Forest of Love ni Sion Sono. Then, actually a lot. Pero yun yung isa sa recent. Ay, okay. Series, parang bumabalik ako sa mga anime na hindi ko napanood. So, Shingeki no Kyojin, ganun. Tapos, isa yung recent Kingdom kasi hindi ko talaga napanood. Tapos, actually a lot. Pero yun yung pinaka-recent. Then, nag-rewatch din ng mga, yung adaptation ng Junji Ito na animation. Although I still prefer his manga, pero I watched the anime anyway.
Yung mga yung talagang series, yung research, 38.
Yung parang anthology series ni Junji Ito. Yun ba
yung anthology series.
I-animate daw nila
yung recent. Yeah, stylized.
I-animate nila yung Uzumaki, pero hindi
Uzumaki.
Hindi pa lumalabas.
Hindi pa so far.
Thumbs.
Taray. Nice. Okay. Last but not the least, Chloe. How about you?
What have you watched recently?
Kung sa series, I just rewatched Big Bang Theory. Kasi I just love the geek humor in Big Bang Theory. Tapos, I also recently watched Westworld, yung sa HBO. Kasi I just love yung philosophical story niya, yung AI gaining consciousness. So yan, parang it reminds me of Black Mirror, and I actually am a fan. Tapos kung sa movie, recent film I watched was Patay na si Jesus by Victor Villanueva, which was on Vimeo On Demand. What I love about Patay na si Jesus was, well, the humor is very Bisaya, and it got to feature different places in Cebu, the culture, the scenery. Parang gusto ko mag-road trip after this whole quarantine thing. Mag-road trip talaga ako after watching Patay na si Jesus.
Sure,
So, yeah.
Ayun. So,
Okay.
ayun.
Going back.
Going back to, actually yun na yan eh. So, thank you
Ayun.
so much guys for joining us. And thank you.
Support. Thank you so much.
Yan.
Meron ba kayong mga last words?
Not on earth, mga last words lang sa
Not on
podcast.
earth.
Yeah.
For this episode
For
lang.
this episode lang. Not of all time.
In descending order, let's start with sa alphabet. Let's start with Chloe.
Last words for this segment.
Yes.
Ano?
Meron ka bang
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me, for being part of your podcast. And hopefully this podcast will inspire other filmmakers to also pursue their passion in making films. So yun, keep shooting, guys.
Thank you. How about you, Ashley?
Ashley.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for this opportunity. My message is that for all of those who want to go into filmmaking, just continue to express yourself. I don't know, that's the main thing that matters to me. Like really expressing what you want. Go, and then for everyone else who will listen to this podcast in the middle of the coronavirus crisis, stay at home. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And last but not the least, Miss Amaya Hen.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for having me, Char. Thank you for having me. Tapos, thank you for focusing on Binisaya this time. Because I actually listened to some of your podcasts. So, parang I think this is the first na parang regional shorts.
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Hopefully,
Yeah.
the first of many.
So, thank you for doing that. Kasi I think parang everyone not everyone, but mainly parang people start with shorts before they go transition to filmmaking. So I think parang it's nice to get the perspective of the short filmmakers din para to inspire the others, especially sa region. Kasi medyo mas mahirap ang access namin to anything, education, equipment, or whatever else. Although, yun nga, nagkakabayanihan naman, nagtutulong-tulungan. Like in Davao, very strong yung helping system. And in Cebu, mas strong yung pagtutulungan ng mga tao sa paggawa ng film. So, it's great na you invited like short filmmakers this time. And focusing in Binisaya kasi it's another film festival outside Manila. So, thank you for doing that. And hopefully, at the last.
Yes. Thank you. So yun, thank you so much for listening, guys, and also stay at home, stay safe, and do support the Binisaya Film Festival. We'll share the link on this episode on filmpolicereviews.com.
And they have multiple parang siguro live events going on sa kanilang pages. So watch
Yes.
Visit their official Facebook page sa Binisaya for more information.
Tama.
So
That's right.
until next time, we'll see you guys again.
Yes. Thank you.
Third World Cinema Club.